what the fuck is
that made
going
out of
on?
horses?
Real honest input here. Once you get outside the starting zone, the
That
game
sounded like one of the most genuine what the fluff from Reggie. I'm sure he's had plenty of moments where he genuinely is like, what? But that sounded genuine. Like, actually, what am I doing with a hoof slop? Alright, today we're checking out Reggie playing Stalcraft X, which looks like the Stalker Zone if you threw a bunch of players into it and told them to figure it out. You've got scavenging, weird gear, and a radioactive wasteland where every encounter could be a trade or a fast mistake. So knowing Reggie, this is either going to be a brilliant strategy or complete degeneracy. So, before we get into it, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the universe, and let's get into it.
Fellas, I have one question.
Yes?
Have you ever wanted to explore a legally distinct world with a legally distinct art style, all while using
That's
a
very
legally
distinct.
distinct weapon customization system? Well, you're in luck, because I owe an inordinate amount of money to the Canadian Mafia, and if I don't pay up soon, I'm going to get trafficked. Which leads me to my next point. This video is sponsored by Stalcraft X. Stalcraft is an open-world extraction shooter fielding tens of thousands of players and plenty of informative reviews. When I read a review that said, and I quote, "the developers need to be shot," I knew I had found something special. So today, we're going to be exploring Stalcraft X, experiencing its rich community, and answering the important questions, such as, if I was chasing you through the woods naked, could you escape? Would you even try? But before we can do any of that, we need to download the game. Just not on Steam. As of writing this review, Stalcraft has been delisted, and I can't tell you why. Just know that they aren't telling you everything.
I understand.
A few moments later.
I understand now. This is gonna be one of those videos. Right. So does anyone know why it was taken off of Steam? Did we ever hear the reasoning, or is it just like, pff, no, not anymore? For no reason at all? No explicitly stated reason, at least? That is what I'm curious about.
Been delisted, and I can't
we
tell
all
you
know they're
why.
listening.
Just know that they aren't telling you everything. This one goes all the way to the top.
Confirmed.
But I can assure you that I am doing absolutely everything in my power to continue playing Caves of Quad in the meantime. After successfully downloading the game client through 3 layers of virtual machines, I organize it into the appropriate folder and begin playing. Quick update, Stalcraft is now back on Steam. Clearly, my hundreds of carefully worded threats to the CEO of mastercard have been well received.
Oh my god, I kind of want to read that. Hold on, I just like want to skim read it. You're gonna have to forgive me. I'm gonna have to. I don't have much choice in this matter. Okay, I'm just gonna skip ahead frame by frame by frame. There we go. Dear mastercard CEO, do not hang up on me again. I will come to that office with an AR-15, a full clip. Fully automatic AR-15 on explicit date next year at 5:50 p.m. This is a specific direct threat over state lines. This is 100% real, not satire or threat. If you hang up on me again, in no way, shape, or form should this be interpreted as parody or joke. Yes, it is. Again, I would like to reiterate, this is not a joke. Stop! In the event that it becomes evidence, no! I'm not gonna say that! This game has been on my wish list for 1.5 years. You know what's next? Don't fluff with me. I will not be saying that. What the heck, Reggie? Did he know people were gonna pause to read
Carefully
that?
worded threats to the CEO of mastercard have been well received. The main story of Stalcraft 2 Wings of Liberty sees you, John Stalcraft, on a personal quest in rural Dagestan to kill your own son in order to avoid paying child support. Along the way, you will encounter classic characters such as Good Luck Jonathan and Tokyo Sex Wale. For legal reasons, I am required to disclose that none of that was true. In fact, my entire script script for this video is not to be trusted. So please take everything I say here with a
Gaslighting
grain
and
of salt.
exploitation.
Once you've got the game downloaded, it's time to create a character. Just remember, arbitrary naming conventions exist to stifle creativity, defy tradition, become the man you were meant to be. Then you can marvel at your character in the main menu. Unfortunately, the developers only had the budget to allow for 15 degrees of character rotation, but at least we can wiggle the background slightly. Can somebody say AAA gaming? Now, let's start our first mission. Right off the bat, two things happen. I awake to find myself in Eastern Europe, and as soon as I learn how to move, I attempt suicide via electrocution. These two things are related. Unfortunately, we're in a planned economy, and the electrical grid hasn't worked for the past 50 years, so we have to trudge onward. Eventually, I find my way into a traditional Russian elevator and begin pilfering its inhabitants.
Why is it kind of giving, like, Dying Light vibes? This game takes some inspiration? That's okay if it did. Just curious. It's the atmosphere and the buildings, and maybe it's just the tone, like the colors they used. It's giving Dying Light. I can't unsee it either, so it's just Lego Men and Dying Light at this point for me. That might change very quickly, but right now, it's Dying Light. Lego people.
Eventually, I find my way into a traditional Russian elevator and begin pilfering its inhabitants. I have my first visceral Stalcraft moment when, after killing several people with an AK-47, I gaze upon their fetid corpses in horror. This man's lips look like surgically reconstructed labia. I stare into the abyss, and the abyss stares into me. I consider trying my luck with the electrical box again, but instead, I follow instructions to reach an escape helicopter on the roof. Arriving there, I realize the entire building is collapsing, which seems like a great time to use a sniper. After fighting through the last enemies, we reach the chopper to meet our evac team, at which point we might say, wait a minute, this feels kind of familiar, before promptly getting shot in the face. That's what we get for playing the tutorial. Before we go any further, I need to address the elephant in the room.
That's interesting.
One of the first things you'll notice about this game is the deeply unsettling art style, because they've blended hyper-realistic faces with the sharp 90-degree angles of a tile floor in a way that the human mind cannot comfortably perceive. Each and every person in this game looks as if they have been subjected to tremendous vacuum pressure to painfully remodel their anatomy into a series of rectangles, and they don't seem too happy about it. Every AI has the kind of 1,000-yard stare that silently begs for euthanasia. But no matter how far I shove the barrel of my loaded shotgun into their mouths, I cannot extract even a modicum of human emotion. The naive among us fear creatures of the night, but those burdened with knowledge fear their fellow man above all else. With that out of the way...
So, is every character, like NPC, are all the lines just like really depressed? Really sad, or some of them like, hi, my name is John, but they've got as their face no smiles anywhere. Is there a single happy NPC anywhere in this game? I don't see any.
Burdened with knowledge, fear their fellow man above all else. With that out of the way, allow me to explain the gameplay loop. Starting off, we select one of two factions, Stalkers or Bandits. Your choice doesn't matter too much, but if you don't want to become the next victim of the bum alley rapist, I suggest choosing Stalkers. From here, you're dropping into an open world teeming with other players, hostile wildlife, and some very dangerous mutants. You move from outpost to outpost, completing quests and upgrading your gear. When it comes to armor, we've got everything ranging from a $3 million exoskeleton to I'm on my way to kill Samuel Jackson. And each option offers unique advantages against the variety of threats in Chernobyl. For example, if you see a pocket of turbulence, don't approach it. This is an anomaly, and best case scenario, it's going to launch you into the air and break both of your legs. Worst case scenario, you're going to be blended. That is as lethal as it sounds. Now listen, I won't lie, this starter zone is basically a preschool.
I thought it was gonna like pop up with like a whole like different pocket dimension. But no, it's just like it's a 50-50. You either get blended or you jump. I I think I'd run into it every time then, just for fun. See if I get lucky.
As lethal as it sounds. Now listen, I won't lie. This starter zone is basically a preschool with guns. The enemies aren't that difficult, and the most dangerous thing is probably forgetting to turn your night vision goggles off when going inside. However, just like preschools, this zone is important for learning.
Good.
Learn the weapon upgrade paths. Understand the hierarchy of mold and its greater economic value.
Mold?
And most importantly, realize that all food comes in the form of troughs of slop with names such as hoof-to-the-face meat jelly. What the fuck is
that
going
made out of
on?
horses?
Real honest input here. Once you get outside the starting zone, the
That
game...
sounded like one of the most genuine what the fluff from Reggie. I'm sure he's had plenty of moments where he genuinely is like, what? But that sounded genuine. Like, actually, what am I doing with a hoof slop? This doesn't make sense.
Fuck is going on? Real honest input here. Once you get outside the starting zone, the game becomes a lot more fun. Because you need to be challenged in order to give a shit about grinding 2 hours for a new bolt-action rifle. Without consequences, none of this matters. And let me tell you, the game has consequences. The third zone I encountered was the forest. And the forest is a lot like Detroit. Because if you get aggro from a local, you must kill them. If instead you choose to run, your weakness will be perceived by the very environment itself. And before long, you'll be at the epicenter of a non-consensual gangbang. Also, the entire place is full of surprise trampolines, which adds an absurdist element of comedy as you run for your life from gangs of wild animals and sex criminals. Speaking of running, that's my next point of feedback. This game has no fast travel system, unless you consider killing yourself and respawning at the nearest hospital a form of fast travel. This doesn't feel too bad early on.
I'll die on that hill. But that is a form of fast travel. Especially if the game doesn't make you lose anything when you die and you just respawn in a different area conveniently with all your stuff and no damage. That's fast travel. For me, at least. That's good enough. I'll be fine. And
respawning at the nearest hospital a form of fast travel. This doesn't feel too bad early on, but as your quests push you northward, you're looking at a 30-minute walk if you want to go back to the starting zone. And don't worry, there's just enough wild pigs and environmental hazards to make sure you can't use auto-run. I would personally fillet the entire development team just to be able to sniff the seat of a bicycle in Stalcraft X. I'm not asking for a lot. I'd probably settle for a goddamn toboggan. Just give me something. Technically, the game does have energy drinks and anabolic steroids to make you go faster, but it's only like 3% faster. And if I have to jam another stick of epinephrine into my neck, I'm going to cry. I'm already onboarding a mixture of unregulated stimulants to allow me to carry 150 pounds of copper wire that I stole from the power grid. My body can't take much more. This is probably a good time to discuss the in-game cash shop. I don't know how it works. It appears to be operating in several currencies and possibly selling a plane. It also features such exciting offers as the letter E. Eventually, I decided to open a loot box, and what did I get? More anabolic steroids. That does it. I'm going to die in these fields. Now, all of that covered the early and mid-game PvE, but PvP is also a huge part of the game, and I'd like to tell you all about it, but I can't. I have only experienced a small portion, because I'm what they call a twink in the classical sense. I go to late-game zones, gather the best weapons, and then I come back to the starting area to sit in a bush shooting dozens of new players in the head. They call me the ultimate predator.
Reggie. I think twink is the perfect title for it. Because, what the heck, dude? I thought he was gonna say something like, yeah, I'm not, really good at PvP, so I don't really play. No, he went the extra mile. He said, no, I'm a twink. I farm the noobs. Stop! That's messed up.
Sit in a bush shooting dozens of new players in the head. They call me the ultimate predator. Whenever I'm not terrorizing a preschool with a bolt-action rifle, I'm losing gunfights to objectively better players with objectively more offensive names. Like it or not, but this is the food chain in action. On the topic of PvP, eruption shelters are a common place to encounter interpersonal violence. The environment of Chernobyl is kind of quirky in the sense that every 40 minutes, a radiation storm covers the entire map and kills kills hundreds of people. This
Good.
forces the entire server into a handful of radiation shelters, which can lead to some heated disagreements. I won't lie,
Yeah.
I feel a little bad when I see a new player desperately drag themselves into the shelter only for me to shoot them in the face. But in a much more real way, I don't care at all, because I've been grinding mold for the past 2 hours, and I'll be damned if MILF Hunter 19 thinks he can take it away from me. Apart from that, the player culture is
guy.
fairly reasonable, and most people are willing to work together. However, a lot of the player base doesn't speak English.
I seen some.
So just be prepared to communicate through a
never understood
complex
that,
system
man.
of crouching, spamming voice lines, and hitting each other with shovels. This might sound counterintuitive, but once you
works.
negotiate your first trade deal simply by throwing screws at a Polish man's head, you'll
Yeah.
understand that you are speaking a universal language.
I genuinely don't believe in language boundaries. People will always find a way to communicate, even with the inability to understand each other. And that's beautiful. And it's wonderful that they're able to accomplish this in a game. Thank gosh there's emotes. Because without emotes, I don't know if communication would be possible, if I'm going to be honest. You need to be able to do something to communicate. If it's not with words, it's got to be with your hands or body, but we don't talk about that.
Screws at a Polish man's head, you'll understand that you are speaking a universal language. All of that covers
One
the
of them.
general vibe of the game. Now, I'll run you through the main questline experience.
Oh, there's a
The story of
questline?
Stalcraft is as follows. In 1986, the Chernobyl nuclear power plant fucking exploded, spewing
Yeah.
radioactive fallout into the atmosphere and giving at least 10,000 people cancer. In the following years, random adventurers and scientific researchers looked at this and said, hold on, I can make it way worse.
Oh,
Now, due to
great.
human interference, Chernobyl is crawling with mutants, magic artifacts, and mercenaries vying for control. And you're one of them. So here's a rusty submachine gun and a few sticks of anti-radiation
And a
chewing gum
few
from the
sticks.
1980s. Good luck. Depending on which
Yay!
faction you
I'm
choose,
ready.
you'll spawn in one of the starting villages. If your first intuition is to find a nearby lake and drown yourself in it, don't bother. No matter how many times I kill myself, I keep waking up in Chernobyl. Hell is a prison of our own creation, so let's make the most of it. Quickly acquainting myself with the townspeople, I find a weapons vendor, a toothless man trying to sell me industrial dehumidifiers, and
Hey,
a
at least he's
probable
got
neo-Nazi.
stuff.
The European realism is astonishing. Above all else, you will quickly realize that
I've
every
never
town is
been.
full of people with obviously fake names that will try to convince you to commit heinous acts of violence for as much as $12 US. That's if you're lucky. Most of the time, it's just random garbage. And let me tell you, there's something profoundly insulting about spending 20 minutes beating wild pigs to death with a shovel only to get paid in Rubik's Cubes and rolls of toilet paper. But I accept it, because I'm not here to make money. I'm here to discover the mysteries of Chernobyl. I start by speaking with the camp leader. He offers to introduce me to a local schizophrenic who might be able to help. But first, he needs me to do a job for him.
Do you really want to go through this quest? Do you really trust this man? His recommendation is something, to say the least. Are you sure? Is this really what humanity has come to in this game?
A local schizophrenic
I don't
who
know
might be
about
able to
that.
help. But first, he needs me to do a job
I've
for him.
never heard
the
that
job
line in
isn't
my
important.
life.
Just
A
know that by
schizophrenic
accepting,
might be
you have
able to help.
irreversibly set in motion an 18-hour-long chain of, sure, Stalker, I can help you out, but first, you need to do this for me. I'll be honest, I don't remember a lot of
Great.
the details for the first quest, because as soon as I left the town, my survival instincts kicked in, at which point I ran into the wilderness and started bathing in stagnant water, making
Good.
sure to drink as much of it as possible
All of
before
it.
punching out the windows of a nearby car to fill my pockets with glass in case I got
Good.
hungry. Fair warning.
Pocket
Role-playing
glass.
in this way did result in several people calling me retarded. In their defense, I probably am. After
Rhubarb!
physically perforating a dozen people,
How
I
dare
am put in
you.
contact with a local mystic known as the shaman.
Whoa.
In real life, both of
A
these
mystic
terms are
shaman.
practical synonyms for drug addict. Regardless, the shaman explains some things to us.
They are.
Somewhere in Chernobyl, there's a magic blue artifact of immeasurable power, and we are supernaturally drawn to it. This
No, we're not.
unnatural attraction is
We are not. I'm not. No, we're not. Don't put we in this sentence. Who's we? I'm not a part of this we. No. No, we're not.
Durable power, and we are supernaturally drawn to it. This unnatural attraction is known
Reggie,
as the
that's messed up.
blessing. That might sound cool, but mostly it just results in us experiencing horrifying hallucinations.
So
that sounds
guys, we did
great.
it. 250,000 obese farting furries.
And waking
What
up in
is
different
wrong with
places.
you?
In fact, I'm pretty sure we're just epileptic. However, that's not the public perception.
What do you
Being
mean?
blessed in Chernobyl is like being an albino in Tanzania, because people are going to try to kill you and harvest your organs. And I don't know about you, but I'd prefer if my rectangular dick and balls weren't turned into powder and smoked by a local witch doctor. So we've got to keep our wits
That
about us.
might be the
main
best way to
quest
go,
line
though.
involves us being passed around by local magic men, with each one becoming more mentally ill than the last. We start by killing a few
Oh, he
people
has
for
got
shaman,
sort of a
no
smile.
big deal. Then we seek out the Oracle, which requires us to develop prostate cancer several times, as he lives in the middle of a radiation field. Shortly after meeting him, Oracle is arrested for punching women in the street, so we move on to working with a clearly psychotic man living in a swamp. He canonically believes that he is the snake from a 1967 children's movie. He also sends us on a
that's
series of
cute.
riddles that typically end with us sorting through a backpack full of dead rats. The more I interact with these people, the more I crave
maybe
an
he's not
absolute
cute.
and immediate death. But I push on to meet my contractual...
It's the gentle shove of the sorry, the toaster gently being pushed over the edge. That was so elegant and dangerous. Don't do that, okay? That's not a nightly routine you want.
The
Maybe
more I
this
crave
isn't the
an
game.
absolute and immediate death, but I push on to meet my contractual obligations.
messed up.
After working your way through a conga line of the mentally deranged, you'll arrive at the bar. This is one of the few locations where bandits and stalkers can peacefully coexist, because an Eastern European's physiological need to be an alcoholic overrides
Yes.
all cultural and ethnic loyalties.
Yes.
Basically, this is Dalaran, and if you understand that reference, I'll see you in the retirement home. This place has plenty of vendors, and it's usually
Stop
pretty
that,
chill.
Reggie.
Except one time, there was a rooftop sniper killing everyone, and we couldn't find him.
Oh, well, he's on a
Other
rooftop.
than that, very nice place. Anyway, it's at the bar that we will be forced to choose a secondary
somewhere up
faction to
there.
align ourselves with. Frontier is a paramilitary group that uses human wave tactics in an effort to destroy all mutants and gain control of Chernobyl. I am contractually not allowed to compare them to the Wagner PMC group, so
No.
I won't. Our other
Don't.
option is Rise. This is a group of anarcho-libertarians who are brave enough to posit that maybe, just maybe, Chernobyl would be better without any government over.
I have to read that. I have to read that. I see words on screen. I have to read it. I'm kind of sorry, but not really. I need to read it. I have to. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, yappers. Oh, I hit the buffer. Rip. Oh, there it is. Live in libertarian utopia. Wake up. No internet because Starbucks was never fun. Eat my breakfast. Hope I don't die of heavy metal poisoning. Walk outside. Get into my car. Hope I don't get hit because there's no regulations requiring seatbelt or airbags. Driving along dirt path to my job at Megacore because there are no roads. Work for 9 hours, 15-minute break to eat my hopefully toxin-free food. Go out to parking lot. Car's not there. Call private police corporation. Please note you'll be charged $19.95 for this call. Ooh, that's gross. They give me a quote for $1K to investigate my car being stolen. Only make $800 a month because no labor laws. Politely decline. Walking home.
Chernobyl would be better without.
Get stabbed for my shoes. Nearby private police contractor can't interfere because I don't have coverage. Die of internal bleeding. Megacore inherits my house because that's what my employment contract said. That's messed up!
Any government oversight.
What do
I
you
choose
mean?
Rise purely because I think they're mentally challenged and it'll be funnier. After that, our new
Yes.
allies help us track down Oracle, who was captured by an enemy gang
Oh, we're
called the
actually saving
Orderlies. I
Oracle.
sneak into their top secret
Okay.
enemy base by simply saying, I work here. And then we
Yep.
find Oracle. By this point in the game, I'm only reading like 30% of the dialogue, so the details are kind of spotty. But the gist of
I
it is that
see.
the blue
I do the
sphere is
same.
somewhere over here. However, it's being guarded by 5G towers that that will melt your brain and turn you into a zombie if you get too close.
Oh.
Luckily, Oracle gives us his finest tinfoil hat and we escape via helicopter. But we have a pretty bad track record with helicopters, and it crashes shortly after takeoff. Dusting myself off from the explosion, I head straight for the blue sphere. The only thing standing in my way now is about 10,000 enemy AI. So let it begin.
That's a lot. You know, I hate to interrupt this sequence, but I just have to say, for a game that looks like more so of a hee hee ha ha funny, it's actually quite detailed and charming in its weird, quirky way. Does that make sense? Like, everything is wrong. The world doesn't make sense. But the game itself is pretty nice, and I'm sure it makes sense to those who read. But like Reggie just said, he'd not been reading, right? And neither have I. I've only read a little bit. I've been paying attention, but I haven't read much.
After all that, we're so close. The sphere is in the next room. And to get there, we just have one final boss fight. Everyone up to this point was a guard, but this is the guard. I can't lie, I have mixed feelings about this boss.
I hate this fucking boss!
In order to kill him, we need to destroy the 6 power cells located on his body, while making sure to dodge his lasers, kill the ads, stop him from recharging, all while continuously shoving first aid kits up our ass. In order for him to kill us, he just needs to touch us. You could say we're at a disadvantage, but after getting flattened about 20 times, you'll start to understand the dodging and become the Matador. At that point, you pretty much got him beat. Moving on from that, we head into the final room, where we find a generic Russian scientist who intends to use the power of the blue sphere to create an army of zombies and take over the world.
Why?
Very cool, but do you have a gun? Because all of my friends do.
Yeah.
The scientist makes his escape, but we firmly secured the sphere. There's just one problem. The orderlies showed up, along with all of our drug addict friends from earlier, and they're disagreeing on what to do with the sphere. The orderlies want to destroy it, whereas Shaman wants to use its power to enact his most depraved fantasies.
All right, take it away from him. Take it away from him immediately. We don't want that. Just destroy it. Squash it under your boot. Throw it into a furnace. I don't know. Do whatever you need to. Throw it in a vat of acid. Destroy it. If it means that we're free of whatever this is on the screen, destroy it.
Whereas Shaman wants to use its power to enact his most depraved
You're messed
fantasies.
up, Reggie.
I can tolerate a lot, but gooning in this economy, I don't think so. This kicks off a huge boss fight where Shaman and his druggies seize control of the sphere and start using it to summon an absolute shitload of mutants. If you don't have an automatic weapon for this part, you're simply not completing it. Eventually, Shaman fully absorbs the power of the sphere and starts saying a bunch of homoerotic stuff.
It's only gay if you receive, don't worry.
After depositing 90 pounds of lead into his cranium, we drain his health bar and break his psychic powers. This causes a hard cut from the boss fight directly into a cutscene where we shoot him in the face, which for some reason I found very funny. I think I was a bit delirious at this point. Either way, that does it. Shaman is dead, the sphere is destroyed, and hundreds of thousands of people who are being controlled by it simply go insane and die on the spot. This is as close to a happy ending as Eastern Europe will ever get. In conclusion, Stalcraft X, one of the best games I've played all day. I want to thank Expo for sponsoring this video. Big thanks to the Grim Cleeper for recording with me for 2 hours before blowing himself up with a grenade.
Goodbye. Goodbye.
Also, don't forget to try Stalcraft X today using code SM25Reggie to receive free equipment, 3 days premium access, and my undying adoration.
Cool.
And finally, thank you for watching.
After all that, Reggie, after all that, thank you. I could use the chocolates.
Premium access and my undying adoration. And finally, thank you for watching.
Thank you, Reggie. Thank you for tuning in to another Neko Reacts. I don't know when my hairstyle changed mid-video, but I don't know which one I'm going to have to stick with for the thumbnail. Anyways, that aside, that was bothering me a little bit. Did you try Stalcraft X after seeing this, or have you tried it before Reggie came out with this video? Let me know in the comments below. Until then, please leave a like and subscribe to the universe, and I'll see you in the next one. Matanya!